What's up, beautiful bosses, and welcome back. Today I have something super special to share with you, and that is I am actually pregnant. So, yay! I'm super excited to share the news with you because I know you guys have been following me for a little while now, and I felt like there wasn't enough resources out there that kind of talk about, you as a calligrapher CEO and someone who might be going on a new journey where, your body's not quite your own, you haven't really figured it out, and, there's just so many unknowns out there. So I actually wanted to film this video to kind of give you a little bit of insight into how I'm planning things out with my business, kind of figuring out what my plan is for each trimester and even the fourth trimester and coming back into work and, figuring things out along the way as well. So as of today's recording, I am 15 weeks and about 5 days. So it's still fairly early. People actually don't know yet. Like there's not a lot of people that know. Only a handful of people know, like my staff knows, my family knows, my cousins, and some really, really close friends know, but I haven't officially put anything on social media yet. But obviously with this video launching, the cat is out of the bag. So welcome into the craziness of me just trying to figure out pregnancy and figure out my business and how to continue running it when I'm not here. I will say I recorded something at like the 9-week mark, and as I was rewatching it and considering if I wanted to post it, it was kind of boring. I was still in the thick trenches of like extreme fatigue and nausea, and I just didn't have like the same energy that I do now, and like I didn't really quite figure out where I wanted and what I wanted to do with it, and just figuring things out with the whole pregnancy thing. So now that I'm in the second trimester, I have a lot more energy, obviously, and the nausea is a little bit more controllable and kind of predictable now, and it still happens, and I still have bouts of fatigue every so often, but I do feel like I've kind of figured things out a little bit, and I wanted to share some of my enlightening tips and tricks for you in hopes that anyone who is going through this similar journey can kind of relate and feel like they are being seen throughout their own pregnancy journey. And then of course, like I'm not here to like complain about like my symptoms or anything like that. I hope that by sharing my point of view and kind of my thought process, it will provide clarity and vision to someone who is also approaching this brand new journey and is kind of going through the same struggles that I did during my first trimester. And even now, like I'm still having a lot of the symptoms, but we'll kind of get into that. So hello, for anyone who doesn't know me yet, I'm the artist behind Crafter. I'm also the founder of the Craft Academy, where I've helped over 100 calligraphers build, scale, and automate their businesses based on their unique story and skill set. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I would love to continue connecting with you, and then hit the bell so that you are notified for all of these really fun videos. So I did put together a list of major things that kind of went through my head as I was going through this journey. So there's 4 main things that I wanted to talk about today. So the first one is battling anxiety with your early pregnancy. Number 2 is battling anxiety with your business and the longevity of your business if you're not there. Number 3 is symptoms and how to manage it. And number 4 is really just setting expectations for your business and potential mindset that you might be going through. So my goal for this series is to film in the second trimester, third trimester, fourth trimester, and then obviously like kind of how to handle coming back and things like that. So this is going to be an ongoing series. So if you have any specific questions that you want me to answer, or you want to just have this conversation in private, please feel free to like send me a DM and then comment on the video if you have any other topics and things that you would like me to go over as well. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is just battling anxiety of your early pregnancy. There's so many things that go through your head as you get your first positive pregnancy test, and I don't think I really understood that until I was going through it myself. So, there's anxiety about having potential loss within the first trimester, becoming new parents and not knowing if you're going to do well. Really just knowing that you can't really control everything because it's all biological and it is what it is, which is kind of a crappy thing to kind of say about this process, but I think there's a lot of luck that kind of goes into it. Honestly, I don't think I have a great answer here other than to really decrease the amount of mental stress or mental load that you might have on yourself or might be putting on yourself unintentionally. Be able to like meditate, relax, and spend time with yourself and your developing baby. If something happens, just know that it's not your fault and it kind of started out that way, and really just like hope for the best. trust. And I know that's not the best favorable answer in this case. I'm not the best person to like lecture on this topic by any means. But again, if you wanted to connect over on Instagram, I'd be happy to kind of, talk you through it and, get connected on a more personal level. And of course, it'll be completely private, just a conversation between the two of us. I will say I did do a lot of testing. I had a lot of pregnancy sticks that I was peeing on every single day, just making sure that the line was getting darker. And then there are some tests that your primary care doctor can do to like make sure that your levels are multiplying appropriately and, just make sure it's landing in the right spot, in the uterus, stuff like that. So the chunk of today's video is actually going to be more focused on the business anxiety and the longevity of your business, even if you're not there. It's very normal for us to feel like if we're not showing up in our business every single day, that our business is going to crumble. And that is simply not the case. And I think the most important thing is to actually get that into your mindset and fully understand it and believe it. Otherwise, your scarcity mindset kind of takes over, and it's not the best way to start like a maternity leave or something like that. It's just simply not the case. And here's why. Because you've already done so much for your business prior to getting to this point. And it can and it will survive without you. And I think it's really important for you to have that daily reminder for yourself. So definitely write it on a Post-it note or a cute piece of paper. Keep it on your wall or like on your mirror or something so that you can see it every day. So that way you can actually start off with an abundance mindset instead of the scarcity mindset. So let's talk in more extreme detail because I love giving tactical information for things like this. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have two main businesses. The first one is Wondercrafter, which is the creative side of the business. And then there's the Craft Academy, which is the coaching side of the business. For today's purpose of the video, I'm actually going to talk more about the Wondercrafter, which is the creative side of the business or the live event performance side. I think the one question that goes through your head when you are a performer is how will I make money if I'm not working? And I think that can happen for any reason. It could be, just taking a simple break for a couple of weeks, going on vacation, getting injured accidentally, or something like that. And that is a very valid concern. And the three most important things to have before you go on leave, if you can plan it, is to have a structure, a plan, and people that you can trust for your business. So we'll get into that. So with structure, you actually need to know exactly where you're getting your leads or your clients. Leads are one of the most important parts of your business because if you don't have leads or clients, then you don't necessarily have a business because you're not making any revenue. Take a look in your business. How are you primarily generating your leads? Is it through email, through Instagram, website, Thumbtack? Where are people looking to hire you? And once you know where you are getting those primary leads, you can actually then redirect them properly and automate some of these responses so that when you are gone, they are still getting communication from you. So secondly, you want to have a plan in place to continue your marketing efforts even if you're not working every single day. That includes your SEO, nurturing your new and your old clients, and of course, having a continuous network throughout the entire process. You really want to make sure that all of those parts of your foundation are in place before you actually leave. Now, the last piece of that puzzle is having people that you know, love, and trust. So there's several trust factors here that you want to consider before you bring them onto your team. Number one is trust that they will actually correspond as professionally as you. So they do need to be a little bit more seasoned because they're essentially maintaining the relationship with your existing clients. Number two is trust that they will support you when you come back and not keep those clients for themselves. The main reason is because you've worked really hard to get these clients over the number of years that you've been working in the industry. So it's really important for you to be able to get those clients back once you do return back into the industry, if that's something that you want to do. So number three is trusting that their skill set actually matches as beautifully as yours, because you want to ensure that the talent level is actually the same as yours to make sure that you guys are all on the same level and working with the same kind of clients. You're essentially trusting your entire client list with your artists that you're connecting with, and that's a huge amount of trust because you're essentially giving them your entire business, right? So you definitely want to make sure that you vet everyone that comes through this process and make sure that you guys are all aligned on the same page. So there's two different ways that you can do this. You can either subcontract and still continue that relationship and communication with your clients and then just send out the artist during the day of the event. The other way you can do it is to actually give and connect your client with the artist together, and they can actually correspond and have each other's direct contact. So that is a little bit risky because you are giving the contact information directly, and you do risk potentially losing the client later on in the future if they decide to work with the artist more, which is why it's really important for you to trust the person that you are connecting them with to make sure that they are going to give back to you over the long run, because you are giving them a lot of opportunity for them to grow their own business and make revenue. So you do have to know and trust them and make sure that they are going to give back to you when the time comes for you to come back into the industry. So that's it. That's my recommendation, and is actually my general plan when I go on maternity leave. So my plan is to actually completely disconnect from the business and allow my staff to take over. And I do have some really trusted calligraphers already on deck through the Craft Academy. So I know that they are actually going to perform really, really well. When I built the Craft Academy, I built it with the one singular idea of creating a community of talented and trusted calligraphers who truly have each other's back. And after 3 years in the program, we have really built a really close relationship. And I'm proud to say that we have done exactly that. So like anyone else who's in the Craft Academy who is going on maternity leave, they have access to all of those calligraphers. So I do feel confident that they'll also be able to do kind of the same thing. My main plan right now is to continue hiring the Craft Academy members in LA and actually just connect them with the clients that I'm directly working with. And I've been in the industry for 5 years, and I've had people who come back to me over and over again over these last 5 years. So I am truly disconnecting from the business. I'm connecting the client and the calligrapher together if that opportunity were to come while I'm on maternity leave. And I just know that with the relationship that we've already built, that they'll be able to, rock it while they're working at the event with the client, but also the fact that they respect me enough that they'll give the clients back to me when the time comes. Okay, so let's talk about symptoms and how it impacted my business and just overall productivity. Obviously, I'm not here to just complain about my symptoms, but really just kind of talk about how it impacted my efficiency, my work, and just how I handled it and made myself just feel a little bit better. The craziest part about like being in the first trimester during this process is it's like you feel like crap, but you're not able to tell anyone about it because in your first 3 months, that's the highest risk of loss. So you want to be very selective about who you talk to. And for me, I think I had 2 people that I primarily complained to and talked about with. It was my cousin who had 2 babies before, and then of course my husband. And so I think what actually gave me solace during that period was actually watching TikTok and just seeing the wide range of complaints and different symptoms that people were experiencing throughout their first trimester. And it made me feel just a little bit better about my own symptoms because I felt like on the spectrum of feeling nothing to feeling horrible, I was right in the middle. So it gave me a little bit of comfort and perspective knowing that there were people who are worse off than me and that I should be, feeling just a little bit lucky. So it just made me feel more normalized and seen, even though I wasn't really talking to people. So that's one tip. And then of course, battling the symptoms, I think for me, so the top 3 symptoms that I had were nausea, fatigue, and of course acne. And I wanted to kind of just explain how that impacted my work and schedule and overall productivity and how I handled it. So with the nausea, for me, it felt like when I was really hungry or I hadn't eaten in a while, that was when the nausea really came back and hit me like a truck. And pretty much if I allowed myself to get really hungry, my nausea would come and it would stay and I wouldn't be able to do any work for the rest of the day. Obviously, there were some days where even if I did eat, I still felt like crap. So with that, I definitely asked the doctor things that I could do, different remedies, tried ginger, hard candies were probably the biggest thing that helped me. I did Preggy pop drops, which I crushed and just ate little pieces of it to try to keep it consistent. And then just making sure I had a full kind of well-balanced diet to make sure that I was getting enough nutrients throughout the day. Obviously, some days were better than others. Some days I didn't get to eat at all. So, it's a balance and you kind of just have to survive during that period. And then the second thing was the fatigue, and the fatigue, oh my God, was horrible because I would wake up in the morning and just feel awful. I would go to the restroom. All I could do was go back to bed because my body just felt like lead. I had zero energy to do anything. I would sit at my desk desk and try to do some work and literally just put my head on the table because I was so tired. So that was really hard. And honestly, I don't think there was anything that I could have done about it. Maybe drink some coffee. I kind of cut coffee because it has some risks there. So I just completely cut that out of my diet. And it probably wasn't until like week 11 or 12 where I started to feel more like myself. Like even now, I don't feel like I'm 100% rosy, from prior to pregnancy. And I don't think that will hit until maybe 6 months after the baby is here. So that's just one of those things. I don't know if there's anything you can really do about it. Really just making sure you're eating enough and getting enough nutrients, proper nutrients to grow the baby and support the baby. I think iron is one of those big things because your blood is essentially doubling in volume. So you want to make sure that you eat enough of that, red meat or iron, spinach, stuff like that. And then really just sleeping is probably the best thing that you can do here. Just like get that energy back because your body needs it and you should be okay with that. And then the last thing that really impacted, just YouTube videos and stuff was my acne. Honestly, I did put on a little bit of makeup and I did brush my hair today, so go me. Partially because I've had so much acne throughout this journey that I just didn't feel confident enough to come on here without makeup on, just because there's so many, teenage hormones happening. I feel like I'm a teenager going through puberty, even though I never really had acne when I was growing up. So this has been a really fun process to kind of go through. I did have acne prior to getting pregnant, but it did get significantly worse. It's like all over my cheek, my neck, and it really just impacted my confidence. And honestly, like I haven't really shown my face on Instagram or YouTube in quite a few number of months. And I don't know if anybody noticed it, but if I do put it on, I definitely like filter it out a lot, or I'm wearing makeup to try to cover all of that up. It's just like really impacted my confidence in showing up and being present online, making videos just like this. I actually definitely pushed this off for a couple of weeks because I just didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera. So that I've kind of just surrendered to it, and mentally I'm just preparing for the next 5-ish months to continue feeling like this and just understanding that it is a symptom of pregnancy and all the hormones that are coming through. Hopefully it gets better, and if it doesn't, it's okay because it's part of supporting life and growing life and making a human and stuff, and it will be worth it in the end. And then, there are medications out there that you can try as well. Topical ones, definitely want to make sure it's pregnancy safe and check on, like I use the app Little Bean. You do have to pay like $3 for it or something. Little Bean is nice because you can like scan the ingredient list and it'll tell you what products are not permitted and why. And so you kind of learn to recognize which ingredients there are. That was one thing that I really had to get comfortable with, and just understanding like if there's a new symptom or just feeling more like crap the next day, that is the new normal. And it probably will be like this for the next 8 to 9 months. And generally just being okay with it. And I know that's not like the one thing you want to hear about it, but it is the truth. And every single week is a little different. Like there were some weeks where I felt better, other weeks where I felt worse. So you just kind of have to take it week by week and be okay with some of these symptoms and kind of normalize it so that you don't feel so isolated in the journey. And, having someone who's been through the journey actually does help a lot. You can complain to someone who is like potentially pregnant or like has been through this process before, and it just makes you feel a little bit more seen and supported throughout that. So again, if you like want to send me a DM on Instagram, like I'd love to be able to help you out with it. But if you don't, totally understand. But just know that if you do reach out, it's going to be in complete secrecy. I've been where you are and I would love to help you if I can. So I think the last thing that I wanted to talk about is setting different expectations for your business. So with all of these amazing symptoms of growing life, and yes, that is just with a little hint of sarcasm because it's not all rainbows and unicorns, it's really hard to get anything done. Coming from an overachiever who, went through pharmacy school with an internship and extracurriculars and stuff, I definitely consider myself to be more, really efficient with work and being able to put 10 things on my to-do list and be able to achieve all of them in one day. Unfortunately, this is not the time to do that. There's just so many things that you have to accomplish as a CEO for your calligraphy business. But unfortunately, this is not the time to put that kind of pressure on yourself because this is a new chapter. It's a very sensitive chapter for your baby, your body. So you really have to try to understand and be okay with creating a a healthy and a safe environment for your baby to grow. Try to reduce as much stress as possible and just know that this is just a very temporary phase of your life. 9 months, yes, it sounds like a lot right now, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're gonna live to 90, this is just a very small percentage of your life. So just be okay with knowing that there's still more time after this to get there. In addition to that, second trimester is supposed to be the phase where you not only feel better, but you also look the cutest. I still don't look that cute in my second trimester with like the acne and stuff, but it's like where your body starts to pop a little bit. You have a cute little belly going, but you're not full enough and giant enough that it gets uncomfortable and you have acid reflux and stuff yet. So definitely taking advantage of that phase right now and just making sure I try to get as much admin things done right now as much as possible while I still have the energy to do so. But, as you're going through the first trimester and feeling awful, I think one thing to really understand is that you created your calligraphy business to create freedom in your life. And I think it's important for you to enjoy the freedom if and when you can during this process. And I know not every single person has that luxury. I've been in the industry for 5 years, so I'm in a very different position than a lot of others. But if you are still in the test or the build phase of your business, and if you don't know what that is yet, check out the quiz, wondercrafter.com/quiz, and see where you are on that spectrum of your business and kind of learn how to get to the next phase of your business so that you can eventually scale. But yeah, I think, if you're in the test or the build phase of the business, there's still so much to do with so little time that you have left, but with proper guidance, you can actually get your business to a level where you will be able to kind of accelerate and scale your business to the point where you don't have to be present in your business as much, especially during maternity leave. So here's what I recommend. Write down one major thing that you actually need to do and accomplish in your one period of time. And that could be a month or it could be a week. And when you write down that one thing, my next recommendation is to write out 3 subcategories for that topic that you need to accomplish. Let's just say your one major topic is to do a website update on the existing website that you already have. Then take that topic, write out 3 subcategories for that topic. So for your main topic, which is your website update, your 3 subcategories would be to collect new photos and update them, update the SEO, make it stronger, and then maybe writing out a new blog. So notice that there's 3 subcategories, and the way that I did them was I actually allowed myself 1 full month to accomplish that one main topic. So let's just say if you want to update your website, you have 3 weeks to accomplish that. So you want to actually assign 1 category per week and allow yourself enough time to actually accomplish those, knowing that you're not going to be feeling your best. So for example, if you are going to update or collect new photos, you can actually just look through your phone, collect all the photos, put it all into one album, and now that's your one accomplishment for that week. And then after that, then you have another week where you can write or update your SEO, and then another week where you can write a new blog. Now you have 3 weeks worth of work, and you can ensure that you actually have enough time to accomplish them and make sure you're not overwhelming yourself and setting yourself up for failure and feeling like crap when you don't update it or do it with enough time that you've set out for yourself. So then after that, you have your 4th week, which is your kind of availability week. So your 4th week is actually to finish off your to-do list or anything that you didn't do for the last 3 weeks. If you didn't finish in those 3 weeks, you have at least a 4th week to accommodate that. Or if you did finish everything, then you've earned yourself a week of rest. And I do recommend that you rest as much as possible because, again, your body needs it. And it might sound like updating your website in 1 month is not that much work, right? It seems like there's so little work in such a large amount of time. That's okay. Just trust me when I say your body needs the rest, your mind needs the rest. Just a reminder to be kind to yourself, be flexible in this process, and really be okay with imperfection because a little goes a long way, and what little you do today is going to make a huge impact tomorrow. So just be okay with not finishing everything and understand that, honestly, there's nothing more humbling as a human being than to be pregnant and realize that your body is no longer your own, but one that's a vessel for growing life, which is actually pretty cool. Just being able to be present and allow this crazy miracle of life to happen. And I think the last kind of bit here is to really allow communication with your partner at home and maybe a business partner or colleague that you really trust throughout this process. It's super important to have someone in your corner to back you up during this process because you need support as much as you can. For me, it was my husband who helped me kind of make decisions for the business in the long run and really just helping me out at home and just ensuring that there's less of a mental kind of weight when I'm at home. So just helping me clean up a little bit more, being okay with the house being just a little bit more messy. So that was really helpful to kind of reduce that mental load. And then for the business aspect, I was able to loop in my co-coach, who is Tammy from Ink and Innuendos. And she has been super essential in just picking up some of the new slack that I now have in the business because I didn't have energy to do any work or I just felt really crappy. Like there were some moments in our coaching calls within like the, between week like 5 to 8 where I was just feeling so horrible that I was like on the verge of like throwing up. And it was super helpful to have her there because she was able to kind of fill in for me, answer some of the questions that I wasn't able to, maybe because I was like unable to pay attention or if I was just not feeling well. Like there were so many moments where I was like popping saltines during the call and that was like her signal to know that I was not feeling well. And then she kind of stepped in and did really well. Honestly, I don't think I would have been able to get to this point without either of them supporting me and just being able to take off some of that mental load so that I didn't have so much to worry about. And so if you have someone like that in the business where you can kind of complain and let them know and kind of loop them into what's going on in your daily life, that is super helpful to, just have someone in your corner to back you up every single time. And then when it comes to planning, because at the time of this recording, it's actually October of 2023, we're about to head into busy season. And so having been in the industry for 4 or 5 years now, I kind of know what to expect. So my partner and I kind of discussed like how many events I will be able to do during this season. And, we've had multiple seasons together. And so with every season, we kind of do like a check-in to figure out like what we as a couple can handle and then what my individual body can handle as well. So back in like 2021, when I was just now going full-time as a calligrapher, I had events probably 5 to 6 days a week. And it was really hard for me, both physically and mentally. And we learned from that season a lot. Our relationship was challenged because I wasn't home and I was stressed out and things were way messier than they should have been. So we really had a serious sit down and discuss like what was going to happen the following year. So that's kind of where that habit started. And it was nice to like hear an outsider's perspective because he could see how stressed out I was, how exhausted I was, how often I was going to like acupuncture and massages and stuff, and it just wasn't healthy for me. So in 2022, we discussed that we were going to reduce that to 4 days or 4 events per week. And that worked out really well. I felt like it was a great kind of balance for me. And I was able to enjoy life and also be able to enjoy being out and performing as well. This year, now with the baby coming in, we definitely want to reduce as much stress as we can and really allow that safe space for the baby to grow and just, not stress myself out as much as I used to or could have. So this year, I'm maxing myself out at 3 events per week with at least 1 Saturday or Sunday off. And if you're in the event industry, you know that Friday, Saturday, Sundays are probably the most impactful and busy days during that time. So we do want to make sure that I have at least one of those weekdays or weekends off so that I can spend time with family and really, again, just be present in this whole experience, especially because I'm also running the Craft Academy during the weekdays when I'm not at events, and it does take a mental toll there too. So I just want to make sure that I balance all of it really well. And, if you're at a point where you are working 4, 5, even 6 days per week doing events, that's a signal for you to actually increase your rate because you shouldn't be booking that much. As humans, there's only so much that you can physically handle. So if you are booking, 75% to 90% of your leads that are coming in, it's time for you to actually increase your rate. And I would recommend increasing by at least $25 per hour to really make it worth it for you, because eventually you will start to work less but still make more, or even the same amount of what you were before. So definitely don't let yourself get to 5-6 days a week, because trust me, personal experience, it was a really awful time. It was so much fun. Don't get me wrong, it was amazing. I'm really grateful for that experience. But at the same time, it was physically so exhausting that I started to get burnt out again. And if you guys know my story, I left pharmacy because I got burnt out. And so I was leading myself down the same path. And so now I kind of know what to do during those times, and I can kind of recognize the physical manifestations for it. So definitely be in tune with your body and know what you can handle. Just because you can handle 5-6 events a week, or that you can go really, really fast for 5 hours, doesn't mean that you should. And you should really prioritize the experience for your guests rather than being a machine and trying to just churn out hundreds and hundreds of engravings, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to create an incredible experience for our guests that are one of a kind and not, kind of machine oriented. So I know that was kind of a long video. I hope that my story helps you, whether you are, going to be a new mom or try to take a break with your calligraphy business. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that, this video helps someone who is a calligraphy CEO who might be newly pregnant, trying to navigate these scary and uncharted waters, or even just someone who's trying to go on, sabbatical or take a 6-month traveling experience and have fun with it, So I hope you know that you are seen and supported, whichever phase you're in. I'd love to help you in any way I can. So please, if you have any additional questions about this experience that I didn't get to cover in this video and want to cover, and you want me to cover it in the second trimester video, please go ahead and drop that into the comments. If you have any other questions that I can help you with in private, please feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to help you. I'd love to connect with you and, share some experiences back and forth and hopefully help you prepare for this new exciting chapter of your life. And then of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy engraving, everyone.